Hello, welcome back to the Sunday Edit podcast. My name is Maggie and I am with my co host Faith. We have kind of dropped the ball as far as the last few months. Whoops.
It's holidays. It's all the things. We're
Yeah.
busy bees.
What are you going to do?
No excuse, but here we are excusing ourselves.
Right. So sorry.
Right. But we're back. We're not letting go of this so easily. We have great goals for 2024 for our podcast. So
Yeah,
the best is yet to come.
it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to jump right in. So you had listened to our podcast last December, and we had talked about different things that we kind of want to reflect on and see, did we hit different goals that we had talked about? Did we not? Things like that. So, just to jump right in, Faith, what was your biggest achievement for this year?
Oh, biggest achievement. I would actually say biggest achievement is I just moved out on my own.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! And this was totally unexpected, as in like it's something I've always thought about, wanted, have been sort of like it's in the back of my brain. And I get in these like modes, and this happened when I started college, which I always told myself like I'm never gonna do college. One day I get the itch to be like, let's apply and see what happens. That's like what happened with this. I was like, let's look around, let's see what happens. And then I like stumbled upon this place that I absolutely adore. So I'm a couple months into being here now, but I'd say like this is my biggest achievement is kind of coming into a season of living on my own and creating my own space. So yeah, it's an achievement. I'm still working on it, but I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you don't think about everything you have to get, like salt and pepper and just like all of the random
Oh,
things.
facts. Like I will need to be saving big time come the new year because yeah, there's like so much stuff. And then all my Christmas presents this year were house things like kitchenware. I got pots and pans, I got a spatula, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like opening my Christmas presents like, you got me a bench? No way. I was like, this is the weirdest Christmas ever. But no, I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What was your biggest achievement this year?
Definitely starting and finishing school.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it started January, like the 1st of January, and then I graduated December 8th. So, definitely, obviously, it was an accelerated program, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. I learned so much. I cried, I laughed, all of the things. And yeah, it was really challenging. Definitely the hardest thing that I have done since high school because I never went to college. And so that was like learning to work my brain again in that way was a challenge.
Were you proud of yourself that you were able to study and learn and take tests and do all that stuff again?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, it definitely makes a huge difference when you are learning something that you love and are
Yeah,
passionate about.
totally.
Right. And so yeah, there was challenging moments, but it wasn't, anything like, I want to die, like, this is wild. It wasn't anything
Yeah.
like that. So
It was so fun listening to our December podcast. Honestly, what a hoot. I suggest you just go back and listen to it because hearing about our 2022 and then expectations for 2023, And then just seeing how this like whole thing played out is just kind of like comical because nothing ever turns out how you think it is. Like
No.
for the most part, doesn't really turn out.
Yeah.
But I was rewatching and you were like, goal for 2023, start school, end school, and quit your job as a barista. And so we have 2 things checked off that list right now,
Nice.
which is so exciting. And I know that your anniversary is in February of being a barista. So it's very exciting to see how that plays out for you because I know you've been applying to different interior firms. I didn't know they were called firms.
Yeah.
I like to say that.
We had a
A
whole
firm.
discussion about why is it a firm versus not. We won't
I
get into
know. Yeah, her and I had a whole discussion because she's like, "Oh yeah, I applied to this interior design firm." I'm like, "What makes it a firm? Why is it not a studio? Or like, why is it not a company?" So, anyways, we deep dived, and I don't actually think we. Oh no, it's a
it.
service. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
some
It's a
we won't get into that. All this to say is we got into it.
we got into it.
We got into it.
Love that for us. Okay, what was your biggest challenge this year?
Oh, my biggest challenge. I had such a different challenge this year than what I thought. And we'll go into like why that is, but I think one of my biggest challenges was like I know it might sound like really not dumb, but like cliche, but like time management of like
Ooh.
school and work. Those 2 things were really intense. And then like I gained like such a bigger social life this season or this year, the whole year. And that's something I've never really had to like manage a lot. Serving at church, I started serving in kids. There's a lot more managing. And I wouldn't say that I nailed it by the end of all this, but it was definitely something that I was like focusing on and trying really hard to um you know create boundaries for myself, for others, and yeah, I'd say like that was my biggest challenge.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah. What was yours?
I said this is gonna be kind of cliche. But I said just being content in singleness.
That's not
And
cheesy.
I think it is,
Oh,
but
mm,
whatever. And just not settling. Um,
yeah.
I think that is it's hard to not settle sometimes. It's easy to settle, you know? So, yeah, remaining single, not settling, I think, because I'm just so ready for that.
Yeah.
So, I think that was tricky,
Yeah.
but oh well. It's
Not
great.
oh well.
We're working on it.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I wrote down some highlights.
Oh, of 2023.
Yes. Um, one of them obviously was going to Maine with you.
Such a big highlight.
Such a big highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was one of my faves. And I bought a new car,
Yeah, you did.
which today actually we found out we are driving the same car now.
Yeah, Maggie and I have the exact same car.
Yeah.
So,
So, but you
and
had
if you know us, that just makes sense. Like we just live parallel lives. It makes sense at this point in time that we have matching cars.
yeah, but it's just funny because today you found out the type, like the model of the car. Wait, is that yeah, the model of the car.
Right.
And like it was just funny. Your mom was like, "No, you drive this model of a car." And you're like,
Yeah.
"No, it's not that." And then you double checked and yes, indeed, it's different than what you thought you were driving this entire time.
I thought I was driving. Yeah, I thought I was driving a Q3. I was convinced. I'm like, dude, I drive a Q3. My mom's like, no, you don't. You drive a Q5. I was like, no, the Q5 is bigger. She's like, walk outside right now. I walk outside, and then she's like, you're so annoying, because she was right, and I'm stubborn, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So there's
You
that.
bought a car.
I bought a car, and my old car was an absolute piece, dude. Like, oh my goodness. If I could drive a car off a cliff, I would. Okay? Livid. I'm livid about it. I hate it so much. I found this really sketchy company called CarBrain. Wasn't sure if they were even real. They paid me cash for it in a parking lot. It was a free tow. I said, "Get it out of here. I never want to see it again." So,
Right.
that's what happened, and it was great. All was well.
All as well.
What about you?
A highlight.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like when I'm talking to you, I feel like all my highlights are gonna be like, oh my gosh, like when I visited you in May. Um, that was really fun for me. Honestly, this whole year, like I just have like highlight after highlight. Like I didn't see this year coming from a mile away.
Yeah, you've been, like, partying it up this year. It's
J-
so different from last year.
So different from last year. Like I didn't realize what a hermit I was.
Mhm.
And like I liked it. Don't get me wrong. Like I wasn't like woe is me. I'm like no, no. This is the life I like. I have like a routine and a schedule. I listening back to our podcast, we talked about friendships, and like both of our goals were to like get new friends basically, and like explore friendships, and I feel like that happened for me this year out of the blue, whether it was someone that like I already was acquaintances with, or brand new people who are like now like interwoven and like knit into my life. Um so I would say this year, I kid you not, I could probably list off a highlight from like every single month, which is rare. I feel like that's rare in anybody's life, in anybody's year. Um but I would say the past couple years have been so difficult. Like 2021 and 2022 were really tough years for me.
Mm.
And I was really just expecting like another like really low key year. And so I was very pleasantly surprised and in awe of like what this year actually had in store. Um, and I feel very filled.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I
Aw.
remember feeling, I don't wanna say jealous or envious, but you would go out dancing,
Mm-hmm.
line dancing, and what is it? What's the other one? With the
Oh,
dude
swing dancing.
skiing, thank you, line and swing dancing. And I love that for you. I also would love that for me, but I don't really have many friends that do that, and it's
Yeah.
hard to just, like, go to a bar and, like, start, just by yourself. Um, anyway, I just remember, like, I lived vicariously through your dancing moments, and it was so fun.
It was like a whole I so many people said that. They were like, "I love this for you." They're like, "Yeah. This like makes sense. Like this sounds like something totally up your alley."
It
Um
makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
right, right. Like if you know me, you know it doesn't make sense because I'm not a country girl.
No, not at all.
Right. Um but I remember I felt like in the beginning I was like just doing it for the plot and that it was like a short season and I was soaking it in. I was like I would tell my mom, I was like, I don't know, like I've never done something like an activity long enough to where it like becomes part of your life. It always just feels like, oh, you meet these people and it's like a whirlwind of 2 months and then everybody goes back to their lives. Like, or like people move on, people move, people do all these things. And so I was like, I remember telling my mom, I was like, I'm really gonna like lean into this season because it's so fun and I know nothing lasts forever. And like I can just see this ending like by the summer. So like I'm just gonna like live. And it did not end by the summer. If anything, it got even busier and more fun. And I went to my first like country festival and went to all these events. And I went down to LA. We danced there. So yeah. It was a fun year. I'm glad I got to share it with you a little bit when I visited you and we went to the Grizzly Rose. That was a good time. It needs to be done again.
Yeah, if anyone in Denver wants to go, hook me up. Let's go. Hook
Are
me
you
up.
actually willing to like step into your like line dancing era?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. It was hard last year because I was so busy with school. I really just couldn't do it.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I do have one friend, shout out Maddie, who oh, you met her there.
I
Duh.
did. I did, yeah.
Yeah, so she loves going there. So I need to ask her, like, girl, we need to make this like a weekly thing,
Yeah,
please. So
once a
Maddie, if
week.
you're listening, let's go.
Right.
I'm
That'll be
ready.
fun.
Yeah. Well, same with you as far as like friends. For me, my goal last year for this year was to have a church community, and I totally
Mhm.
have that now. And it's been one of the sweetest gifts. Literally, I could cry about it. Like, it has changed my life. Well, same girl, Maddie, she um was telling me basically when I was getting to know her through the at the coffee shop. She was just like a customer of mine. Um was telling me about that. Well, she found out about this podcast and then realized that I was a Christian. And so we started talking about the Lord. And I was like, well, where do you go to church? So she told me where she went. And I was like, cool, I'm going next week. And I did. Ironically, she was not there for like a whole month because she works a lot on Sundays for her job. But it was so good. There's like 50 people there, which I love because I mean, I'd never gone to a small church before and I don't know. So I've been to like mega churches, I've been to like normal sized churches. But I really like this small church vibe. And something that I have found is that like if you want community, you have to make it happen. You can't just expect a church to you know, oh my goodness, hi, like who are you? Or like let's all get to know you. Like
Yeah.
I've been really intentional with getting coffee with the women of the church,
Mm.
and it's been so sweet and fruitful. Um and then I joined like a house church or like a Bible study. That's been amazing, and we were like so vulnerable and going through our testimonies and started volunteering, which I've never done. In the kids, which is not a vibe, I'll tell you that. But we do it because there's need, not because we like super love children. Okay. Let's just be honest here.
Right.
Right. But anyway, yeah, it's been such a huge blessing.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm very thankful for that.
I'm trying to look at my notes of It's interesting. I remember listening back and you were like, "What's your goal for 2023?" And I was like, "I don't have a goal. I have a feeling." It's like
What did you say? What was your feeling?
I said I wanted to feel settled. I wanted to feel productive, and I wanted to deepen friendships and make new friends.
Okay,
So
so exactly.
feeling settled. That's such an interesting, I don't know. I feel like
Well, I mean, you have a new place. Does that count as like settled or like more in your heart and your mind?
probably more so in my heart and my mind because I've always been so future oriented. Like, where am I going next? What's next? I always felt so transient. Even though I wasn't, I just like mentally I was transient. Um, but I feel like now, like I definitely, yeah, I guess I would say like I feel settled. Like I'm obviously like committed in a new place. My job I'm still very much committed to. My church I'm committed to. So I would say in this particular year I felt probably more settled than I have in any other season of life since like, becoming like an adult. Feeling productive. Now that it's interesting. I'm busy. I don't think busy is productiveness. I don't think they like always line up. I think you can be busy and not be productive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Productive in the sense that I finished another semester of school. I got my undergrad. I think I did that this year. Yeah.
Woo!
So now I'm in my bachelor's program, which is very exciting. So I guess like little productive things here and there. But I think this year, like I said, I was really soaking up all the social things. And I think what I also realized is that when I had like my best friends like who were living here, they lived like 30 minutes away. And
Mm.
sometimes it's not that easy to be like, let's hang out. Oh my God, it's rush hour traffic. I'll get to you in 2 hours. Or like, sometimes it's just harder that way. Um, Having like a local church and like just building like local community, it makes it so much easier to be like, oh, you live 10 minutes away. Oh, like, it's just much easier to like build friendships off of that. So, um, I would say my productiveness has also like coincided with like my just building up like a more of a social life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Miss. Well, it's just funny because I think we talked about this last year or whatever, but I was the social butterfly. You were, and then I was, and now you are taking the lead in that, I think, this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I didn't really have time to do that.
And I'm curious to see what's in store for 2024 because I don't think the level of activity that I went through this year, I don't think that's sustainable like at all. Like I was, if not traveling like on a plane every other month, whether it be work or visiting family. Like I just think there are certain things where like this year was so fun and I so enjoyed it, but I don't think it's sustainable. So in terms of like next year, I'm curious to see like what my life rhythm looks like. Um yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. It's interesting how we just kind of we like ebb and flow through different things like that. You're busy and then you're slow and
Yeah, we don't even mean to either. It's just kind of like what
just
happens. It
yeah,
just
it just happens.
just happens. Um but yeah, do you feel like, say, I remember you were like, I don't think I have any room in my heart for any new friends. Like I already love my friends. Do you
Isn't that so funny? Because here's the thing, I still stand by that as far as like when you reach a point, it's almost like your heart is so full. How can it literally like hold any more?
Mhm.
And it can though. It just like keeps growing. Such a childlike thing to say, but I think it's so real. And I definitely have experienced that this year with church community and
Mm,
um, you know, creating more friendships that way, deepening friendships I've already had. Um,
mm.
and yeah, so I still feel that way in a sense, but like every single time I collect a new friend or go deeper with a friend, I'm just always blown away by how much more capacity of like love and whatever in my heart that I have for people.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
What would you say was one of your biggest like spiritual challenges this year?
Mm. Um, I think okay. I think I definitely told you this. I'm like trying to remember if said this on the podcast. I don't think I did. I feel like, and I still feel this, and I told you this weeks ago, um, that I feel like I'm on a bridge and holiness is on one side and worldly, fleshly desires are on the other.
Mm,
And that's what I want. I like want to run towards that. But I know what's right for me and I know it's good and pure and holy and that's what I should be running to. And so instead of running to that or the other, I'm kind of like standing there on the bridge, like not moving at all.
mm,
And so I think that has been a really big challenge for me. in just a lot of areas of my life. And I think um I tell people this, I'm on a holiness journey and trying to figure out what that looks like as far as um really everything
Yeah.
in my life. I mean, we were talking last night of this, there's this movie out on Amazon and it looked interesting. A lot of people are talking about it right now on Instagram and it's getting a lot of traction. And just reading the description and seeing the trailer, it looks really interesting and I'm fascinated by it. But at the same time, I already like feel the conviction of it. And so I think even something so simple as what I'm watching or something like
Mm.
that has really been, I think the Lord's just, like, really poking at me in that area, even, like, songs that I'll, like, listen to all the time. I'm kind of like, "Eh, no, I don't like that, like, I need to switch
Yeah.
that." Um, in relationships and even with, like, alcohol, I stopped
Mm.
drinking this year. I stopped drinking in August. Not that I would drink often anyways, but I think it was just kind of an invitation to explore more of holiness in that area.
Mm.
So, um I think that's been the biggest challenge for me is like, what do I believe and why
Mm.
do I believe it? And what am I willing to lay aside for my beliefs? And if I'm not, do I really believe them?
Yeah.
And, am I really going to actually prioritize my relationship with the Lord over anyone, any substance, anything, you
Yeah.
know? So that's a good question. What about you?
Well, pause for a second. What is your like definition of holiness? Like when you say you're on a holiness journey, like what does that word like encapsulate for you?
Ooh, good question. Okay. I think it just means to look more like Jesus.
Mm.
And I also think that people are convicted about different things. Um, I think there's probably like a holy moral ground that everyone kind of stands on, right? But um, I think holiness looks like actually looks listening to conviction.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people give the excuse that they don't want to go to church or they don't want to know God because they don't want to give up what they're currently doing in their life.
Mm.
And I think that's a really good indication that what you're doing then is not holy. And um so I've definitely felt that in my life. Um I mean, and I could give you like concrete black and white, I think this is not holy. I don't, whatever. Um but just to generalize it, I guess. I think holiness is purity lived out. And I'm not talking about like just sexual purity. I'm talking about my thoughts and
Mm.
my words and um, my demeanor, my tone, the way I speak to people,
Yeah.
the way I react to people
Mm-hmm.
or situations. Like I think it's all encompassing and it's mind, body, soul, spirit, emotion. Like it's all of it combined.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I say I'm on a journey because
Totally.
obviously I'm not perfect and I'm figuring it out. And that is something so sweet. I think it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do something, feel convicted and say like, "Oh, okay, like all right, Lord, let's not like I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
anymore." Or, whatever it is, different things. And I think the more that you do that, the more that you can hear more clearly from the Holy Spirit.
Totally.
Which is a good thing, and it's not here's the thing too, is it's not popular, and it's not easy, and it's not fun all the time.
Totally.
I never wanna give the impression that, like, yeah, it's amazing, because it's kind of not all the time. Like, in the end, it is, but, um, but right now, it doesn't feel amazing, like, in the moment, when you have to go against what I really wanna do. whatever it is, like that's not fun.
Yeah,
Um, but I think the reward of growing closer to the Lord is worth it.
totally. I also think that with these like journeys, I think a lot of people try to fix their outward actions and their outward attitudes, thinking that that is what is going to move the needle on your closeness with God or whatever you're actually trying to work towards. But
Mhm.
what's so interesting, it's actually like it begins inward, like what you work on inward, like your heart, what you desire, what your like initial thoughts are, what you're thinking about. That all is what influences the way you speak, the way you act, the way you go about your life. It's not the other way around. It's not, let me fix my actions and then that will, change how I think or feel. I think I think especially when it comes to spiritual journeys in particular, with some things like working out, for instance, I think maybe that is more of like a physical act that then becomes like something inward. But I think specifically for spiritual journeys, whether it's like you're wanting to um be more holy, you want to be more graceful, you want to love more, that it cannot start with your actions. It has to start with your heart. Like, you can't love people if you don't love yourself. Then you have to work on that inwardly. Why don't you love yourself? Is it a childhood thing? La di da di da. So I think, yeah, it's not fun because you have to deal with your own turmoil and your own wounds and your past and who you've hurt and X, Y, and Z. Um, so I think you're right. It's not an easy journey, but it is such a rewarding journey to go on. And whatever it is your end goal is, like yours, like right now you're on like a holiness journey. I've been on so many journeys. I've been on like a grace journey and really like experiencing God's grace for myself and for my life, and then I figure out how to extend it to others. Um so
That's so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think something I've learned, and we've talked about this vulnerability, and,
Hmm.
and we've done a podcast about it, I was, yeah, I've through this holiness journey have just realized, like even more so, that I hate when Christians are depicting their lives as perfect
Hmm.
and that they don't struggle with certain things, because I'm such a mess. Like I'm such a mess. Like I need God, and I
Literally same.
right. We need Jesus. Um and so I always want to make sure that people know that like,
Mhm.
hey, like I'm on this holiness journey. This is what I'm dealing with. And like I'm just going to be honest. I want to lay it out for you. Not to everyone, right? Not everyone needs to know our deepest darkest sins and all of that, but to the people that we trust, and to just say like, yeah, this is what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that I've told people, um my friends, new friends from church, like things that I struggle with, they always combat it with love and encouragement.
Yeah.
And so that's been really life-giving and really amazing too. So, yeah.
Yeah. I've never been more comfortable with telling people I'm a mess than telling people like why I go to church or why. Not even that. Like not even I go to church. It's more than that. Like why I like choose to pursue a relationship with God. Like it's not about me going to church. That's just like a vessel. That's something that I do to help, but it's not like my main thing. But like why I pursue a relationship with God is because literally I can't do this life on my, like I literally can't.
I know. I don't understand how people can do it without him. I'm like, how what's your secret, sister? How are you so perfect?
How?
Because I'm not. I'm a mess.
Right. Totally. Um Yeah, I definitely have goals for even that part of my, not to say that that's a part of my life, but like that area of my life that I work on.
Like holiness, you mean?
No, I just meant like my journey within like my relationship with God and like where it is now and where I want it to be.
Yeah.
Because it's ever growing and it's ever changing, and if you put in effort, you will see it grow. You will
Yeah.
see it change.
Yeah.
Totally. Um,
You know what's crazy? This is like kind of random.
okay.
But it just popped in my mind.
Yeah.
So, and I have to look at the verse because I'm blanking now. Shoot. Um, let's see. I think it was uh 422 or 428. Bible verse. Sometimes the Lord wakes me up
Mm,
and oh yeah, it was Ephesians 4:22. So he woke me up at 4:22 and he wakes me up sometimes and I'll like note the time and then go back to bed and look up verses that are like 4:22. And so it's Ephesians 4:22 and it's you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Crazy. Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. So we love that. Yay for all those journeys ahead.
Well, yeah, and it's just honestly confirmation that like sometimes I don't like to sound crazy, but like it's just what I think and that's how I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm like, are people gonna think I'm weird? I don't care. But
Let
it's just confirmation that like God still hears us and speaks to us. I think sometimes I think this relationship can feel or people see that it's so one-sided that you're just like talking into the abyss of like, God help me, God, la di da. But like, no, it's a person. And he's here. He will talk back in one form or another. Whether it's waking you up, whether it's talking through other people and like hearing that confirmation through someone else, whether it's in your Bible, whether it's in your mind, and you just know like you have that sense of like, I did not have this thought. This is not a me thought. It must be a God thought. Um, this is where I'm like, so sorry if that like gives people the heebie jeebies, but I find it so comforting that God still speaks today. And even that confirmation of you're like, oh, I'm on this journey and you're not on it alone.
Yeah.
You're not on this journey alone. That like God wants to be with you and help you and walk with you. And it just shows that like you're going somewhere. You're
Mhm.
not just like on a treadmill where you feel like you're walking, but you're not actually gaining distance.
Mhm.
Like that's not what this journey is about. You're actually like walking through and like gaining ground. Um, and I
Yeah,
love that.
it's good stuff. I don't love being woken up at 4:22 in the morning, but
This is why God knows that's not the way to speak to me.
and
He well knows that I will not respond. I will not hear you. I will not acknowledge.
right, and I'm a morning person, so I'm like, okay,
This man knows. Don't wake me up. I'll be mad.
that's
No,
great.
but I do dream a lot. So I think that's sort of like my window or his window into like the
Into your
nighttime.
yeah,
I dream a lot.
yeah. 3 to 5. It's the most spiritual time of the day, apparently. Is
I
that
can see
real?
that. I can
Okay,
see that.
yeah. I mean, it's always like, yeah, between 3 and 5 for me, pretty much.
I feel like it's the most quiet, like humans, I feel like are the most either asleep or just like,
You're a part of the earth when you're sleeping is like just quiet.
yeah. I don't
Interesting.
know. That's now getting into
All
some
right, we're getting weird now.
we're getting weird.
Okay, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna 2022 or yeah, 2022 Faith and me now Faith, same person as in like I don't really know what I'm like looking forward to. Um there is going to be like change like even like my job like there's like different like movement within like my company, so I'm really curious to see like just the expansion and the growth with my job, cuz sometimes it can feel so mundane and like every day is the same, but working in an ever changing industry like I just know that that's not the case. So I'm super curious to see like even like like am I going to fall in love with like not something else, but like a new sector of the industry. So that could very well happen. Um, just continuing to build like more community. I'm really looking forward to that and just building. I gained a lot of new friendships in 2023, but now I want to deepen them. Like I feel like I have like good friends and people who I know that are like good people. Um, but now like I want that to just be like enriched a bit more and just kind of go that extra level. So I definitely want that. Um and yeah, I think that's what I have for now. That's what I
Okay,
have for now.
I like it.
Yeah. What about you?
I think the obvious one is getting a job. Um,
Right.
there is one that I really, really want. I applied for. It's kind of a weird time to apply for jobs though, because some like the holidays, whatever. But
You should follow up with them on the in the new year.
yes, I will
Yes.
be doing that. I
Yes.
also and this will happen because I have a date set up already, but I am going to meet with some potential business consultants. Um,
Nice.
yeah, they're really, really cool. They help designers create their own business essentially. They come from like law and business background, and that's I have no idea about any of that. I don't know how to start a business. I don't want to know. I just want to be told what to do and I'll do it. So next week I am going to meet with them, which is exciting, and we're kind of going to see where things go with that. um, so that'll be really fun. um, I think same as you, deepening, I had written down deepening community friendships, because I've already made so many, but yeah, again, I want to really deepen them, get to know them more. Um, and just kind of a couple fun ones. John Mark Comer, for those of you who don't know him, is amazing. I'm obsessed with this man. He has his own podcast called Practicing the Way. You should definitely check it out. It's incredible. He used to be a pastor up in Portland, uh, and now actually teaches at a church in Santa Monica area, I think. Ironically, my cousin goes there now, and I'm like, girl, you have no idea what a freaking gift it is. I'm like, you better not miss one single Sunday, okay? You just better not, because I can't be there, so you need to be there for me.
Right.
Anyways, he just wrote another book, and he's doing like a book tour, I think, and he's coming to the city that I live in, not that far away from my house. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go and see that, whatever that is. I have no idea
Yeah.
what that means, but I'm excited for that. And then Jaden is one of my brothers. We're gonna go see Matt Rife. Do you know who that is?
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Spicy. Yeah. I think he's hilarious. I know he's taken some heat lately. Um, but whatever. I love him, so
Right.
don't come at me. And then also we're gonna go see Jordan Peterson's um I don't know what he does. Like I don't know like what his tour is. It's titled We Who Wrestle with God. Um
Mm,
so yeah, I'm going to go see those three people next year. And I'm
that'd
very
be really fun.
Yeah, I think next year I really want to be intentional with doing fun things like that.
Yeah.
Um and like going to concerts and just different things.
Now that you're not in school, it's just gonna feel a lot easier to like supplement and like think about social things.
Right. And like I'll actually have time. I'm not doing like 8 hours of homework a day. So
Right.
yeah, I'm excited to do that. It's going to be good. I'm also absolutely terrified to get a new job.
Yeah.
Like, I kid you not, I'm so scared. But it's going to be great. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
I
great.
mean, it's a chapter that has to be closed. You cannot be a barista for the rest of your life.
I
I
can't.
know it's comfortable. I know you love your customers, and you love seeing your people, having your same chats and knowing people's lives. But you'll get that same feel when you become an interior designer and you're working with your customers for a year or for 2 years, however long it takes to, you know, see their
Will
vision fulfilled. Huh?
will I though?
You have to have faith, my love. You have to have faith that
All
you
right.
picked the right path, that your passion that you have for interior design is there for a reason, and you finished school. You paid for it. Come on now.
Come on now.
Come
Oh,
on now.
yeah,
Oh,
debt free.
debt free. You want to be debt free? You are debt free.
I am. Well, I was debt free a week ago, and now I bought a car, so
Right.
now I'm not. But like,
Right.
I basically am.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
pretty soon I will be. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I finished school debt free with school,
Love.
so that's just like a little celebration
Yeah.
for me.
How exciting.
How exciting!
Exciting.
Um,
Well,
I plan
yes.
on seeing you next year.
Right. I'm like not even worried about that. I might see you in January if you come up to Idaho with me. So it
Yeah.
might be sooner than we all think.
Which, you know what's crazy? Side note, my family is moving to Idaho.
What family?
They my family so my
The
grandma
Florida family?
no, 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 but they're all related, but they live like Mendocino maybe-ish area,
Yeah, I know Mendocino.
and so they're moving up to Boise, but it's like outside of Boise.
In what town?
Well,
Meridian.
whatever. Where's your family?
Okay, well there's Meridian, there's Nampa.
They're moving to Meridian, I think.
Okay, that's where everyone is. It's the hot spot. It's
Is it?
Meridian. Yes, that's where my family is.
Okay, I think it's Meridian. I'm gonna have to double check. But how crazy?
Eagle. There's Eagle.
No, not Eagle.
Nampa.
It might have been Nampa.
Okay, Nampa's also very up and coming. Great first place to buy a house.
Is it near you?
Yeah. All these places are relatively 20 minutes from each other.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone want to come party with us in Idaho?
Invite extended.
Invite extended.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll be seeing you. That's like I'm not even batting an eye at that.
Right.
Right.
Okay, well, this was exciting. I can't believe this year is over.
Yeah.
You.
We're going to be starting the year fresh with our podcast. We really have to
We
get
have
down
some
this.
goals.
We have some goals for the podcast.
We have a lot of goals. It's actually kind of overwhelming.
Right.
But it's gonna be really good. I'm
Yeah.
excited. We have officially, I don't know the stats, but we've made it farther than most people as far as starting
Making
a podcast
episodes.
and continuing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's encouraging.
Yeah, I just got to keep trucking along.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where like, consistency really does matter.
Yeah.
And like, I know that I don't want to say we don't have a goal. I don't want to say that, but like, consistency matters no matter what.
Consistency matters. Yeah. So if any of you listening have a topic that you want us to talk about in this upcoming year, if any of you want to be on our podcast, we are looking for guests. If you know somebody that's interesting that you would want us to talk to them, let us know.
Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely going to be getting DMs. Let me hop on the podcast.
Hey, if you got something exciting to say, or you're funny, or not, I don't know, whatever. We're open.
Are we? You
Well,
are.
I am.
You are.
We'll
Good
talk.
enough.
We'll talk about it.
Half of the Sunday edit is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be great. All right. I don't really know how to close this out.
We love you guys. Thank you for being on this journey with us as we started the Sunday edit and continued on through the year. We're excited to keep going, to continue to listen to our followers or our listeners and then gain new ones. We hope you guys have a great start to 2024, and we can't wait to walk this year out together and with you. So, from the Sunday edit to you, we love you. We thank you.
And
Mwah.
good night.
And good night.
Oh, cute.
Is that really how we're ending it?
I like it.
Okay.
We could say something else if you want.
That's fine.
I think we should cut it right now.
Now.